Hello, my loyal companions. Welcome back to RogueCast, your dedicated Rogue Company podcast hosted by me, Radthar, and as always, joined by OctaneProTV. How are you this week, sir?
I am doing fantastic. We finally got some movement in the Rogue scene. We
do.
got some stuff going on. We got some news and deadlines on when some changes are dropping this week. So it's an exciting week for Rogue Company.
It's all rolling. It's all running. It's that pre-patch, pre-content drop kind of period where you see a little bit more excitement coming in than say the past couple of weeks, and then we're gonna get content dropping. It's gonna be good. I'm happy. I'm going into next week feeling really, really good. So we of course will touch on a lot of those things and aspects, but first I want to know how your week's gone. How's Rogue Company? How's content? How is everything for you, sir?
Sure. So we did Fight Club the other night, and that was a lot of fun. Typical Monday night on stream, so it's always a good time. Did enjoy that. Finally got the chance to try the quote-unquote free-for-all of 4v4 on a small map. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was just a giant CF, but I enjoy it. I very much enjoyed it. That was a good time. Did some ranked. Ranks was enjoyable. You and I played together. We had a decent squad that night. That went well.
That went pretty good.
So that was a lot of fun. Definitely enjoying it. Outside of that, I'm just eager for what's next. You know, we always get in these limbo periods. So I'm excited for the new map to play that. I didn't get a chance to play that in the PTS at all. Outside of that, you know, it's been interesting. We've seen a lot of action on Twitter from the Rogue Company account with kind of like this countdown going on. Like 4 days, now 3 days. So it's kind of nice to see that coming through. And then we also got This Week in Rogue, which we'll talk about. So it's been a good week for me. What about you, Rogue Company? What kind of content have you been pumping out?
Well, actually, I want to quick talk. Was this week the week where we went against the supposed hacker? Was that this week?
Yes, that was this week.
That was this week. We beat them. We beat them, didn't we?
100%.
That was a fun rank game. It wasn't. It was up until we were like, huh. Like I still remember Skyfell running forward, and then it was my head.
It was the Lancer. It was the Lancer.
No, it was the definitely Phantom because we ran through Skyfell on attack. And
it was like unbelievable. There's no way.
It was my head, then your head, then Jolly's head, and it was just done. And it was like, huh? Like just instantly within milliseconds. It was something else. But of course, I brought out the sniper, and no hacker's gonna beat me.
That was one of the few times I would say in the last year that I've actually reported someone. Like I don't usually report someone because usually I'm not usually running into a hacker.
Sure.
Now, granted, I know the YouTube comments are gonna be like, "I saw a hacker here," and "I saw a hacker here."
Yeah.
I have not really experienced it.
Me neither.
I'm usually
really.
a good. And between you and I, we usually know of someone if their skill level is that obscene. Yeah. And it was just like, it was Phantom, and they were just popping off. Like, it was just like, wait, what? Like, what just happened? Like, there's no way. It was most likely an aim hack, as my guess.
Yeah.
Because it was just like instant. Like, they didn't even need to see us. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that I actually used the report system on that one, and I did it like right away. Like
it
was like round one. It was like round one. I was like, hell no, nope, reported. And you even said it. You're like, you're reporting that? I'm like, absolutely. What? And then later on, everybody else on our team did because it was just like, and you could even see like you looked at the other team's score, and it was like that person, and then everybody else. Like it wasn't even. It wasn't even close. Let's be honest.
I said I have gone against the best players in this game, and
absolutely, I bet.
No, it's just not a thing. What that guy did was just not a thing. And again, we still won because you can beat a hacker. You just throw a grenade at them. What's he gonna do? That's literally how we killed him.
Yeah, we did a lot.
Just
we did a lot of smokes. We did a lot of smokes and stuff like that. We kind of swapped up our builds in order to be a little more utility based.
Yeah.
Just to lay down enough cover and everything.
Yeah.
Which. So it didn't seem like they had a wall hack. It looked like it was just aim hack. So if they couldn't see us, they couldn't hit us. So we worked out okay.
It was kind of that. And for me, it was mostly smoking off the enemies, the other ones, so we could just focus on this kid. That was it. That was my mission every single round. Was focus on this one, get him out, and we would trade we would have like 2 of us up and 3 of them up. But we were then just okay. Like we were vibing off that. Like with just 2 of us, we could kill the rest. It was an experience for sure. But in terms of like my content and stuff, I kind of think so. Wednesday, I just hit stream really good. Honestly, all 5 streams this week have just been great. I mean, yesterday's was a bit iffy, but most of the time, they've been just really good. Just vibing out. Today especially, I had such a great stream. It's Sunday today as recording this. I had such a good stream. I was just playing Strikeout with viewers. Absolutely just vibing out, chatting with chat about lore and a bunch of other stuff. And it was one of those things where it's like, I had average, I think, 80, 85 people in chat all the time. And it was just, and everyone was talking every single time. and it was absolutely great atmosphere and stuff. And it's those are the kind of streams that I absolutely love to do. So it was a great time. It was a great time. And then solo queue to Rogue happened. I went up exactly 100 RP. So I went exactly 1 rank up. I went from Diamond 451 to Diamond 351, which was nice. And I've been playing a lot of Phantom. I've always said I am not a sniper.
Now, are you going with Nightshade?
No, sniper.
Okay.
Sniper.
Okay.
It was the hacker. He turned me onto it. I was like, I must learn. But no, I've always said I'm a good sniper. I was a good sniper in Call of Duty, and I've always been a good sniper. But I have to use a sniper almost exclusively for a long period of time. Otherwise, I'm just not in the rhythm of it. And I just started using it like maybe once every game, every other game now, just like in my strikeouts and stuff. Maybe like leave 2 or 3 games, but I'm playing my Phantom every single day, essentially at some point. And my shots are just rolling. Like they're just rolling and rolling and rolling. I'm getting really into the groove of just like putting off these massive clip moments that are just are great. And I'm really enjoying it. So I don't know what it is. I've just been Phantom, just with me right now, just been having a great time. So it's
so
nice.
I'm curious on that. So 2 things. First off, I want to talk about like the current sniper meta a little bit regarding Fixer and Phantom, and this is not planned. This is just an avenue we're going. But the other, before we get into that, I do want to comment on the fact that I really do like Phantom's kit. I like her in kit through and through. The only thing that bothers me is like I need to be able to flick shot like a second faster with flick shots. And the reason I say that, and some people might say you're insane, but the reason I might say that is I have found so much comfort over the last 15 years of playing, or 20 years maybe, of either playing CSGO with the scout and the op that I'm like, I'm used to that flick. Like I can flick around a corner and I'm good. You can't quite do that exactly. Now, I understand it's not supposed to be that, but it would be really, really nice.
What do you mean by flick around a corner? I'm kind of confused.
So,
what do you mean?
Almost like the ADS, almost like the time between seeing a person or the it's like a flick shot. Like you barely even need to ADS in.
Oh, like a quick scope. It's kind of what it is. So you do kind of scope in, but you just so like say you're looking here, you're like snap.
It needs to be like a second faster, honestly, in my eyes. Because if we're gonna talk about how relatable the game is, let's take Phantom Sniper and relate that to CSGO's snipers, and then take Fixers and relate it to Halo. That. I like, they seem like they connect directly on both sides, which absolutely makes sense because that's coming from Scott Gandhi, the lead designer, with his background in Halo. Totally makes sense. But I'm like, it just needs a little. Now, granted, we're gonna have a boatload of people out there that are going to be like, "Nope, you're wrong. I love it. Don't touch it." But I'm like, I would love it more.
If it was just a bit more flashy, almost.
Yeah, a little more flashy. Now that said, I wanted to get your thoughts on why Phantom right now and not Fixer.
So my issue with Fixer is his kit is better in terms of I can see through smoke. I can see for you, which is great, better than a nade, honestly. I have a warrant pistol, which is much better than the P12K. Not bad. I actually personally really like the P12K, but if you were to go off statistics and just general usage in terms of mag size and stuff, the warrant is going to clean house much more. And his perk set is really good with Headstrong and Life Drain. And there's a lot with Fixer that is really, really nice, except the sniper for me. And I don't like it. I just I've never found. I mean, I actually have Fixer Mastery 10. Someone actually asked me in stream today, how did you just suffer through Fixer 10?
Big flex.
I know. So I've got like 12 of the rogues level 10 or stuff, But I used this now for a long time, but I never was like super comfortable with it, where it was just felt natural to use it. I don't know what it is, whether it's the ADS is too slow, or whether just the reticle just isn't right, like it's just like slightly too high above the shot, where the shot lands or something. I don't know what it is, but I've never really vibed with the sniper. Phantoms feels really clean to me. Like I feel like I can. So like when you were talking about flick shots there, I have to disagree with you. I feel like I can hit flick shots like constantly, and just I can move between it. I don't feel like I even have to ADS as such. I mean, obviously, like a little bit. I do feel like that standard. Hey, I've aimed down sight a little bit, and it's activated my aim down sight speed. I think that's kind of what you're talking about. Of like when the speed of your ADS changes between the different scopes. I do feel that. It just like looks a little weird. I think maybe because you have the visual of bringing a scope up and then looking through it, which is kind of a little bit weird, I guess, for
Yes,
third person.
yes.
I think that's what it is. It detaches you from the third person point of view, and that's probably what it is, where you're getting that like second latency almost. But I really like the sniper. I also do like her. I feel like she's a little more sneaky, a little more evasive. Even with like things like evade, but her smoke. You know, I just feel more connected to Phantom, I guess, as a rogue. I like her sticky senses as well. They're really nice, and the axe is really good over the bat, which for me is a massive thing because I love to be able to just axe people in a close situation.
I hate the bat. It's too slow. It's too slow.
The bat's too buggy. The problem is the bat's too buggy. And like honestly, I'll hit someone with a bat, it'll donk off their head, and they won't die. And I'll be like, okay, well this is great. And that's my biggest issue with the bat at the moment. But yeah, I also don't like the 2-shot in Fixer's sniper.
Oh, where you absolutely have to. Yeah,
I don't like it.
It's like pow. Like,
well, I disagree with that. It's actually like pow pow, but then you're done. That's the issue. Is you have to reload.
Like, crap.
Yeah, and it's like yes, I can kill someone. I can die. I hate the double body. And, you know, I'm gonna have a slight rant about Fixer. Fixer should not be able to double body shot that quick. When you go for body shots, you're essentially using the sniper as a DMR, right? No DMR should ever be able to double body shot that quickly, and that is my biggest issue with Fixer. Is his sniper is very DMR-ish unless you hit a headshot, and I like the headshot mechanic, honestly. Although the headshot is kind of clean, but sure. I don't like that you can double body so quickly and so effectively.
Would you be okay to slow down his time between shots, but increase the damage? So that each shot counts more. You know what I mean?
Then you're just becoming
because when I use correct, but when I play Fixer and I use his scope, I always get frustrated because it's like, man, like if you hit them once and then swap to your pistol like a traditional sniper, you know, to finish them if you needed to, it would make sense. But I always feel like, just like you had said, when you body shot them, you're like, oh man, I gotta shoot him, I gotta hit him again.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Yeah, well, see, and you know, actually, you know, this is a change I think would work. They need to add a ridiculous amount of recoil to that second shot. Of you fire once and it goes up, and because then you're not nerfing the fire rate of it, right? But you're nerfing the actual speed at which you could realistically get that second shot off accurately if you increase the recoil. And I mean, like, really, because you fire that thing, especially if you get one of the upgrades, it doesn't move. It's like think, like, and
the recoil is very low,
and it should be a big sniper, like hey, I've whacked you, you know.
Like a 50 caliber shot is what it seems like, with how strong you know, the way it looks and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I just think having more recoil, and then you reward those really good players who can adjust for that recoil really quickly and giving them the faster fire rate for the second shot. Because they have it, they just have to adjust the recoil. And it means those snipers who just can hit 2 body shots, because it's really easy, don't get all the leeway of it. But I think overall, I just prefer Phantom's kit. I think Phantom is just better. I like having 6 shots in the sniper. I like the life drain on her. I just like going bam head roll, bam head roll, bam head roll, and it's like, you know, it's just it's a nice momentum. I feel she feels fluid, whereas I guess Fixer feels kind of clunky to me. I guess that's my distinction.
I agree with that. I kind of gave up on Fixer after I had a match on Windward where I was
I remember this.
20 yards away. It was a anvil on top of boxes, and I shot him twice, and his health did not drop, and I'm like, somebody clip that, because I'm sending that, and then so I actually sent it to Radar, and he's like, oh yeah, those shots didn't register. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
like, come on, like that's the stuff where it's like, that can't be happening. No. Like that could make or break a game. I mean, imagine, not that it would be for me, but imagine if that's like a competitive game, like you know, in a tournament, and it's like those shots counted. Imagine casting that. Yeah. Well, they should have killed him and they should have won that game, but they didn't register, and it's like, so yeah.
I said,
that's my thoughts.
I'm definitely in that boat as well. But no, other than that, I said Vibe and Phantom, but content's been really good this week. Really enjoyed it. Kind of got back into doing a bit more tip-based videos and content stuff. I put out a lot of gameplays. Yeah. I also did I revamped my Rogue Spectate series, which is where I take like CMG finals and things and break them down so people kind of understand the plays and strategy behind it, which I've always loved to do. Idea. And so I put out a lot of them along with a lot of gameplay. So I've had a lot of longer videos, and now I've kind of transitioned a little bit more to some shorter tip-based videos alongside some of the gameplay, which has been nice. I do like that kind of content. So it's been pleasant. But as you sort of mentioned towards the top of the show, this week in Rogue Company came out. and did show us two particular changes, two rogue balancing changes that are, and again, I actually want to reiterate this because I don't think a lot of people realize they did say they are thinking about. These aren't guaranteed additions, given what I assume we both think of high res, they are probably guaranteed additions because they are being announced. Kidding? Like, you know, we'll be realistic about it. But if we're going off their wording, it's just an idea. Two changes, one to Trench, one to Sigrid. And I think I'll let you kick off, Trench, if you want, with that change and explain what that change is, and then we get into it.
Sure. So on Trench's side of things, which Trench used to be my favorite character in the game for months, even in closed beta moving forward. He was my favorite character in game. I always liked his utility. Over the last year, they've made a few changes to him. They nerfed his MXR, which was my favorite weapon in the game. On top of that, they also split up his barbed wire. So they broke it into two different pieces, smaller total radius, in order to help with, kind of handling maybe two doorways versus one in that regard. They've also changed a few things around the past regarding can you melee, can you not melee, barbed wire, and they've changed things like that. So Trench, I think you and I played Trench actually this past week. I think it was me, you, and Jolly were talking about it, and even you guys had said, like, I naturally went for his MXR, and you guys are like, you probably could have just stuck with his Executioner and not even bought a primary. And it's like, okay, a rogue is not in a good state when you don't even use, his primary weapons. But in This Week in Rogue, they announced the fact that they wanted to bring the trip mine back to the game. Yeah. And they decided to go ahead and put it onto Trench. Okay. So they added it to his kit. They took away the tear gas, which I could understand that. I think it's a good call there. I don't know how many times I would have gone with the tear gas, but okay, fine. So you're now giving him the ability to lock down even more. No problem. So my only caveat with this change is it doesn't answer the problem of his primary weapons. His primary weapons just aren't good in my regard. So I am not. Throw the question back to you. Is this going to cause Trench to be played more or to be added back into the meta because he now has a trip mine versus a tear gas?
Okay, so with Trench, if you want to talk meta-wise, he actually is currently kind of meta. In that he is used mostly for nade meta denial because of his trophies, and he's used for additional nades due to Dahlia Link. And Dahlia is pretty, exactly. So you kind of got him, he is floating around, he is kind of prominent in some of these games. Not as much as he was, say, like months ago. And you're right, the MXR is garbage, honestly. Like, if you literally compare body damage up close between that and the Executioner, yes, the MXR is technically getting a buff this week to 30 damage, but the Executioner still does 32. So, like, There's no reason. The only caveat, and it's actually what I will say, and I probably didn't say when we were playing, is you should use the HRM. HRM is actually a very good gun if you're very accurate with it. It is a weird kind of gun. It's one of the only ones that's very unfamiliar to other guns. Like, it doesn't. The skills of the K30 and Riptide don't translate to the skills of the HRM. No. So it's kind of like it's a weird gun. It's like a weird like AKE sort of bit high kind of gun. So, but it is really good. And this is what you see running comp at the moment when Trench is played, is they are using that. But what this change is going to do for Trench in terms of meta is it's probably going to take him out of meta because, yes, the trip mines are nice, and yes, you still get his passive, and yes, you still get his trophies, and he may still be played purely for that reason. But what you lose with the gas grenade is actually quite heavy because the 2 gas grenades you could get really early on with his passive used to be fantastic trophy wasters. So when you go up against an Anvil or Trench, which again, pretty better right now.
They're like dummy needs,
Essentially, which I actually get, and I really like the design choice of removing them because you don't just want this piece of equipment that is only used to get sucked up, Every equipment should have value beyond just being wasted. So I do like that, actually. I do like that change. In terms of what do I think of the trip mines, I kind of like it. I like that he is a lethal. The one thing I said straight away was, I can't wait to see 3 trip mines placed on a flank, and not as a, hey, I'm going to kill you with these trip mines, because I don't think people are, I never really fell across trip mines. Occasionally, I might blow up, but they were never that big of an issue when they were on Saint. What I'm going to imagine them doing is with 3 of them, you could literally lock down a lane and say, hey, you know what? If you want to get through here, either blow up or you have to shoot them. You have to shoot them.
You're forcing that exposure.
You have to give away your position in some way, and I really like that. I really, really like that. So I think that's interesting. The other thing I think it's going to do with the meta, which I like because this poor rogue needs some love, is glitch. I think it adds more for glitch to do, more for him to hack. And I've always said the best way you're going to buff glitch is by buffing defenders or adding a new defender or pick a ban phase. And so I like that. I like that he'll be able to see these straight mines through walls. He won't be able to be fooled by them. He'll adopt a more flanking playstyle potentially, or should he go for a more breachy playstyle, he'll be able to hack them and get them out of the way when they're not wanted. So I do like it. I think it's interesting. And I think overall, my opinions, we'll have to test it in game. I think they're going to be probably pretty annoying for strikeout, running against trip mines because you just don't pay as much attention. But they are going to be, it's going to be interesting to say the least. Any other thoughts on Trench?
No. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing. The MXR, like, man,
I
early Rogue. I love that weapon on him and Dahlia. So I'm disappointed in the direction that he's gone. But I found new love with Seeker. Outside of the bat. But other than that, no, I think that's Trench. Why don't you give us the down low on Sigrid? As we move into the second part of This Week in Rogue.
Cool. So Sigrid got a really nice change that I have been calling for such a long time. I actually called for this before they added Toughen Up. And if you don't know what Toughen Up was, it was the perk that you could buy, very low tier perk, that would reduce the amount of damage you would take from melee weapons, including swung and thrown. So you take less damage, 30% less damage from melee weapons, which is nice. Although I always had the issue of, why on earth, while playing Sigrid, am I getting punched through a shield? I literally never understood it. I am blocking grenades. I am blocking C4. I am blocking bullets. And yet this little Seeker with a fist is punching me through my shield. Not having it. And they have finally made the decision to not allow you to melee her through the shield when she has it up. So distinctly only in the window that she has it up. She's not permanently immune to melee weapons. Only when she has the shield up is she immune to melee weapons. I'm assuming and hoping it's only from the front as well. So if you come up behind her and throw a sword in her back... Yeah, I'm assuming that's it. And I think that's a really nice change. Yeah. I think it's a really, really nice change. I think it makes logistical sense more than anything, which I'm all about. I'm all about the logic. But I also think it does just give her a little bit less annoyance when it comes to the fact of, hey, she is the dominant force. When she's got a shield out, you don't want to be walking up into her face, Yes, you might want to try and, run around her, get her to face the wrong way and shoot her. But now she's a threat in that she will just shield bash you down. And she can do that safely without having the fear of a bat smacking her through it and killing her. So I really, really like that change. I do question the value of Toughen Up now, though, as a perk for her.
Oh, the necessity of it. Yeah,
like it's still good because, again, you get in reduced damage from melee weapons at all stages when you buy that. So it's kind of nice, but I don't know if it's that important on her anymore, whether they move it to another rogue or whatever. But what are your thoughts? That's my opinion.
No, I'm happy with the direction they're going with Secret. I think it's a good call. I know they played with the whole melee mechanic a lot with her. I think at the end of the day, coming into the game, if you're like a newer player and you see this ballistic shield, I think that expectation sits there. Like, imagine where you'd be as a new player. You pick Secret, and all of a sudden, like, Radthar runs up and melees right, and you're like, wait, what? Like, I have a shield out. Like, so I do think there's a lot of value there. It makes sense. So I think it's a good call. I'm happy with it. I'm surprised it took this long to get us to this point, to solidify it. But I do think it's a good decision. With Toughen Up as well, that one's definitely questionable. It's like, well, you can't make this change without this change. So I would imagine something comes with that in the next week, or maybe it's in this and they just didn't say anything. We'll find out. But I would imagine they make some alterations to that.
Yeah, I think maybe they give her a different perk back and they remove Toughen Up, at least retire it for now, or start adding it to other rogues, which I know they're interested in doing. I kind of hope Trench gets it. That'd be kind of nice. It's not overpowered on him. It's a nice perk, kind of like Evade. It's nice to have. It's not ridiculously overpowered. And it does combat a lot of the whining I've seen on Twitter about melee weapons. I don't know if you've been...
Do you think it would... Okay, pulling it back a little bit, with the direction that Trench is going, being even more utility-based than what he was, do you think his weapons need an overhaul as to what weapons he has? Or is it only because the MXR doesn't really have a home anymore, except for like 2 characters right now?
I think the MXR is just garbage. I think it's just not.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, do they swap his weapons out? Or like, is there a better weapon fit for a utility class like him now?
You know what? Okay, this is what I think they should do. This is actually okay. This is it. They remove the MXR and they put it on Glitch, and they remove the shotgun from Glitch and put it on Trench. So that so that what happens?
I think it plays more to
what happens is exactly
based.
you have this rogue who's like area denial. You know what? You want to run through my barbed wire?
Yeah.
Now I have the threat of a shotgun to really bully you with. You know, like if you want to come up to me and come up this close, you know, you want to run near my trip mines. Maybe you have tenacity, doesn't fully kill you. While I'm gonna one tap you with a shotgun. You know, I don't think. I mean, and the HRM is just such a long range weapon anyway. It fills the void of the MXR regardless. It basically has two of the same weapons. It's just whichever one's better. And at the moment, the HRM's better, or the MXR was better. And by the way, the MXR was so busted before. I'm glad it's not.
I think it's a good call. I like that actually on glitch. Like I'm trying to think through like gameplay style of glitch, and like you don't entirely want to be up in someone's face as glitch.
No.
You're this glass cannon per se. Like you bring utility, but you want to be cautious. And I feel like having the MXR would be a great call. It kind of makes him a mid-range character, which I think is completely fine, which is traditional with most DMRs. I think that makes sense. And then you swap that with our man Trench, which, as you said, is meant for locking down. You're not going to be picking Trench on an offensive, but on defensive, man, I feel like he's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's a good call. I like that. I like that, and I would love to see that change.
Yeah. No, I think that'll be a really nice little. Just change it for both those rogues to make them a little bit better. Because again, you're right. Glitch doesn't always want to be up close. He's got an SMG or a shotgun. He's really limited. And the only other rogues that have that playstyle are Chark and Scorch, who are these. Yo, I'm gonna win any 1v1 anyway. I want to get up in your face. Glitch isn't that. Glitch is a not to say slow, but he is a sit back kind of rogue. Wait for the perfect moment, and sometimes you want an MXR to do a bit of poke damage more than you want an NMPX or a shotgun. So I like that.
Yeah.
I think that would make him actually pretty viable. And yeah, I think so. I think that'll be pretty good. But those are the two changes that we saw from this week in Rogue Company. Only two changes we really know. Other than we know. Oh, I actually didn't even mention this to you. So when I was talking about the Arms Leader event, they're bringing it on Tuesday.
Yes.
What? Huh?
So
why? Huh?
Yeah. So this one's a little bit odd. Based off of everything we saw within the PTS for this event, it was odd to see this come now and not 2 weeks ago during the Easter holiday. So now we're getting it here. I'm curious if they overhaul some of the rewards,
maybe
to go away from the Easter holiday and be just random. The other thing I really struggle with, as we talked about, like kind of like rogue changes and swapping this with that, I'm like, we're going to be coming up on another rogue here soon, very much so, based off of their 2 rogues per quarter, and also based off the fact that we should have a battle pass coming out here soon, based off of the time left on the current battle pass. So that being said, I mean, I'm how do I put this? I'm excited that the event is coming from in 2 days. I'm not going to invest into it. I know you will.
Yes.
Which is fine. Completely makes sense. It's right up your alley. But I won't invest into it. And I'm just going to be that guy that says, if I can't use my experience for this event, it seems silly to spend rogue bucks on it. Now, granted, I do think the Saint skin's pretty badass.
It's so good. It's so
good. Pretty cool. But other than that, this is very much I need to give the community something to do between battle passes. That's what this is. But I feel like this should have rolled out, I don't know,
a week or 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, maybe.
I mean, maybe.
In order to like, I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Your thoughts on the timing of this event?
Yeah, I still don't understand why Tuesday and not Wednesday.
Yeah, why Tuesday?
Yeah, now you have the realization I got. And this, everyone was telling me in my chat, like, it's Tuesday, it's not Wednesday. You keep saying Wednesday. I'm like, why would it be Tuesday, you muppets? And then apparently on Twitter they announced Tuesday. That just baffles me. If you're gonna stick to a timeline of, hey, we release everything on a Wednesday, store rotation on a Wednesday, new updates on a Wednesday, don't bring me out on a Tuesday. Don't do that to my mind. I like the structure. I like the awareness. I plan my content around it. You know, makes sense. But other than that, like it's fine. Again, it should have come out last week, at least 2 weeks ago. Probably would have been better for the Easter event, but I'm not too upset about it. It comes out when it comes out, right? You know, I think the last week has been a bit painful in terms of content. So I would have liked it last week, but it's here now. We made it through, right? We're here. That's my thought. We're here.
It's coming.
I'm a live in the moment kind of guy. We're here. This is where we're at 100%. Now. So hey, we'll take it. But the sort of, I guess, main topic, I know we like to talk about weeks and then updates and stuff, but then we always have the main topic to discuss. And the one that I wanted to sort of pitch to you this week was actually to do with something that was brought up in my stream, and so we've actually talked about, I think, off RogueCast quite a lot. And that is stat tracking within Rogue Company and how pathetic it is. Absolutely useless.
I'm glad you said it and it wasn't me.
No, I'll say on this one.
our viewers are always like, Octane is always so negative. So I'm so glad that you said it and not me.
No,
so it's like,
I don't think anyone can disagree that not only do I have no confidence that it's tracking my stuff correctly, I also don't think it represents anything. One of the things that really brought this up to me is I just hit 10 million damage, which was like, oh, I did it, yay. But again, I first of all don't know if I have hit 10 million damage, like for real, because when you load up the profile page, right, which is where the stats will be, there's a little like, what would you call it, like a summary of your stuff, and it's like time played and total damage and kills and victories or something.
Yeah.
And the numbers for me at this point, 55 days into playing, are like thousands, and in damage, millions off of what they are when you actually click into that tab and see the breakdown. And I'm just baffled by it. I just really don't understand it. And it got me thinking, and I know you have opinions on this as well, probably, of what do we need in terms of stat tracking? And I think we also saw this in Apex. When we played Apex, we looked at some stat tracking things as well. And this is another thing that's brought it to my mind again of just like, gosh, why do we not have a good stat tracker, first of all, in-game, that displays things to us? And then why do we not have an API that can then be used somewhere else that we can go onto a website for, that we can use as Twitch integration? Could you imagine loading up into a game and typing in your match ID or typing in your name, finding your match ID, and then being able to see the stats of the enemy players? Mind-boggling. Like, honestly, so I'm gonna let you go. That's my intro into it. So I'm gonna let you
All right.
voice.
So agree with you 1000%. There's a few things here. So first off, they have not released the API for the game for outside individuals to go ahead and do this types of thing. I kind of hope they never do. But at the same time, I know how slow they work and develop. So that's a shame, and that's why this happens. I know in Realm Royale this occurred. Like realmtracker.com existed for 3 years now, because that's where you went to find out your match history. So like you played a game in Realm Royale, you knew what position you got in, but you knew nothing else. So then you had to go over to Realm Tracker, and then on Realm Tracker you could see everybody in your game. You could see their kills, their deaths, all that types of stuff was in there. The challenge is Hi-Res Studios views stats as an afterthought. Compared to a tool to drive the culture of their game. So, example, I'm the best trench in the world. Well, how do you know that? Well, because I feel I am. Like, I'm sorry, there's a lot of these competitive players that I'm like, oh no, they're the best Lancer. Bullshit. Sorry, you have no stats to provide that. There is no world best list.
No,
There's
no leaderboards.
Top 10. There's no top 10 ranking list. There's nothing. And most of the time, your hidden gems are the people that don't stream, don't compete, but play and are God's gift to the world. And you never hear anything about it. So the challenge is that builds leaderboards, which builds competition, which adds to ranked, which adds to esports, and people, okay, let me go ahead and look at Radthar stats. Okay, you can qualify to try out for this team, like all this types of stuff. None of that exists. Their stats in the game, and I'm sorry for any developer that listens to this, but are a joke. They are an absolute joke. And it is upsetting to see a game that wants to fit between this CSGO, Halo, Valorant, Overwatch niche and genre and try to compete. And I've gone on rants on my stream about this, where it's like, literally click on the Overwatch profile tab. I like, you click on that tab, it is just like stats threw up in your face. It is amazing and beautiful. Your ranked MMR value shows in there, 2000 whatever. Like everything is in there under the sun, down to a character level. I could care less about skins in this game. I could care less about battle passes. Give us this is the stuff that's important. This other stuff is fluff. And I'll be honest with you, last thing, and then I'll throw it back to you. I don't know how they didn't launch a game with a good system like this. Like, this is a norm in a competitive game. Is stats. You don't even have your API accessible for some John Smith to write an API connection and build out a web page for us, because you're not doing it. It's like, it gets me really frustrated and really flustered on the fact of like, why doesn't this exist? Tell me what you have to spend your time on more important than something that can drive the culture of your game. So there's my tangent.
I like
what do you got?
No, I like it. I really do agree with pretty much everything you said there, of just like, hey, it just isn't good enough. It isn't good enough for what we want. I don't even want a KD ratio. Actually, I do. I want to know how many times I died. It tracks that. At the end of your match, you can see how many times you died. Why do I not know in my overall things? I want to know how many times I died. I want to know my KD.
Yeah, in your profile, it should, like, that is something that I have pushed for, where it's like, okay, my KDA is X, and I'm like, man, I really got to work at that.
Yeah.
Like KDA is where people go to. Like, even if you're not providing us the stats in the direct game because you don't want to create a toxic culture in the individual match, give it to us at the summary screen at the very end.
Exactly. Because you can work it out. You can say, okay, I got this many kills, this many elims, I got this many deaths. You can literally see that, but we don't see it anywhere else in the external pages. Again, I just don't think it should be in game. I think in game is fine. Those stats are good for me in game, and then we can see it after game. But, and this is what I keep thinking of. Nothing is going to. Their biggest issue is player retention. Let's say. I mean, they have an issue with player gaining, but there's also an issue with player retention. And something that always fixes player retention is giving people things to grind for. Now, me spending money to buy a skin that you've put in store 8 times is not going to help my retention. But me having stats I can look at and grind for, or leaderboards I could grind, ooh, yes,
compete
sir.
Against your friends.
Any day of the year, I will go and sit and say, hey, you know what? No history. You've got a 2.4 KD. I've got a 2.3. Give me a week. I'm at 2.5. You're at 2.4 still.
You know, I just thought of a genius idea, and you helped me discover it.
Okay.
And this feature I don't think is in any other game. So you heard it here first. You ready? Let's say they build out these stats the way you and I are pitching. You know, hire Radthar and I. We'll build out your stat system. Okay. What I'd love to see that I haven't seen any other game is having the ability to create a private leaderboard. So if me, you, and Diehard wanted to create an in-game leaderboard for the 3 of us, like let's say you went to your friends, and on the stats you had your own custom leaderboards. I could create that with my friends, and you could see it too. That would be so cool to be able to like get a handful or a bunch of content creators together, or somebody builds out an esports like competitive leaderboard, invite only. And how cool would that be?
That would be really cool.
That would be phenomenal. So you heard it here first. Put it in play.
So so there's something I do want to talk about, and slightly tangent off that, is I know there's 2 things I know about which are making an attempt. I know that Dr. Amanapi from Men's Esports has always tracked stats for the competitive scene. He's a French guy. He's a really cool guy. I've known him since the start of Rogue Company. And he tracks stats from different games that he was watching. Originally, it was started with Incon, SSG Incon. When me and Omni Esports were screaming a bunch, he would take all our stats, and he would have like per match average and this and that. He had a website for it, and it was really cool. We had like our own stat tracker essentially. Cool. He then has kind of moved that into the CMG boards, and he's now tracking stats from CMG matches, but it's not always the easiest because they don't show post-match reports always. So he's making good waves with that, and sort of on a individual level. And one thing, and I think you would love this, because I genuinely think I have a better stat and leaderboard system than Rogue Company. My brother is my community Discord manager, is his official title, because I can't work Discord for anything. He's a little bit of a genius about it, right? And he's programmed a bot that he has for my channel, like a specific bot, like Nightbot. I said he had my own Nightbot for my channel, and he's got it in a way, because I run these 4v4 customs, or like at least I try to. Weekly of I get 8 people from chat. I get them in a lobby. I balance them out, and they fight out in demolition, proper sweaty style, like a little league, I guess. And then we take those scores, those reports, and we put them into my Discord. And then we take the stats from them for each player, their average, their damage, their revives, their things, all of that. We put it into now what is a bot that you can literally go into one of my channels, type like ! position, and find out your position across all my viewers in your leaderboard. You can do leaderboard, you can find the entire leaderboard, you can do combat record and find your entire combat record of total kills and stuff. And it's like my 17-year-old brother, I think he is, was able to program that in a week. You know, and before that, one of my mods, Dre, was doing it on a site he has with some coding and stuff, and then we eventually moved to Discord. And it's like, he's able to do that in a week, you know? And like,
and everything manually too.
Exactly, and that's for my little Discord, right? How many developers do we have to then push that into a wider full game system that can do something equally as cool? Like, and that's what I find really interesting, is like, you know, it's just how, again, I guess that's why it's baffling. So many things have like popped up into my head recently.
I think the challenge is, and if there's a content creator or personality out there, a competitive player out there that is heard differently, the challenge is nobody is approaching us as community members, partners, or whatever, and saying, we know we need stats in the game. Tell us what you'd love to see. Give us examples. Give us none of that occurs ever in Rogue Company, and it has not occurred. It's always like hey, Radthar, we're thinking about doing this. Give us your 2 cents on it. And it's like, wait, why is that? Like, why is the idea generating? So like, yeah. And I think that's where we're running into some challenges. And I think there's some room for growth. I think the developers need to switch where their idea pool comes from, take it from the community that plays your game, and stop trying to come up with what you think we need, and allow us to tell you what we need. Like, that I think that makes the difference in the community. And the hard part is like they're talking about bringing on a new community manager with a lot of the changes going on. It's like, but you are this far into game development. Like, your game is not the new Ferrari on the block anymore.
No.
Like, sorry, your launch week of coming out of closed beta in open beta, that is your game's launched, brother. Sorry, like that's it. And so it's kind of come and gone. And so that's definitely a challenge. I think their approach needs to change in order to allow things to flourish better.
Yeah, I agree. I've never been asked the question, what do you think the game needs? That's never the question I've been asked. I've been asked, the closest to that open of a question was, I believe I was once asked, what do you think Sigrid needs to be good? That was the most open question I've had. Other than that, it's, hey, what do you think about us doing this to this character, or us doing this to this weapon? It's very specific. But I've never had that open-ended question of, hey, what do you think the game needs to be good? And I would love that question. I would write an essay. Maybe they're afraid of an essay, because I would definitely give them an essay. But so I definitely think that is an issue within the game currently. I think that is something that, from our point of view, and I actually really hope this new community manager does want to listen, and does, especially to us to the partner program. Like, we are good advocates. I think, at least we are good advocates for the community. Like, genuinely, I think. We hear everything. I'm always on Twitter. I always see what's said on Twitter. I always see what's in my YouTube comments. Always see what happens on Twitch. I know pretty much what the community wants based on everything I hear all the time. And so I think if they listen to us and actually like wanted to hear what we had to say based on the community, not just our own ideas, but what we thought of the community, it'd be great. And yeah, I just really like. I put a tweet yesterday. Right? And I said, for all you comp players, do you think Tenacity should come back to its old state but be a 10k perk? And the comments were just like, yes. And it's like, well, clearly I know what I'm on about. Like, let me bring that to the devs, or let a dev listen to me when I say that, and see the feedback we've got from it, and know this is something that potentially people want. I even have people saying, I'm not a comp player, but hell yeah. Like, and it's like...
100%. It'd be great.
Because nade meta, and again, I was such a good advocate of, I want the meta to change, and I'm glad it changed. I'm actually glad we're in nade meta, as opposed to being an MXR meta with Daria and Scorch and all this rubbish that was just so boring, because it went on for so long. And I don't like nade meta. I don't like it, but I like that it's different.
I hate flash meta, though.
Flash meta is rough, and you can't see Anvil.
I hate it so just because of the fact that flash grenades are not designed properly.
Yes,
like, it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
it drives me nuts. It's like, wait, he looked away.
Yeah.
Oh, nope, doesn't matter. You're within the radius. It's like,
can be kind of rough.
This is just lazy development work. But yes, agreed, 100%.
No, I think that's pretty much my hot take on this week. I'm looking forward to what's coming next week. Stat tracking, I think, needs to improve. I'm sure we both agree. Hopefully Dev listens to this, and you can take something on board from what we've said. Maybe just even come and ask us a question. Me and Octane, DMs are open. We'll always talk to a dev about what we want to improve the game on, right? So, I mean,
100%.
Happy days.
I'm gonna tell you straight up the truth. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and I'll tell you if I love it or if I hate it. So yeah,
I'll give you a little bit of sugarcoating, but I'll still eventually get to the truth.
That's right.
I do it with a fancy handwriting. It's the British in me. We can't not.
That's right.
All right, but that's it from me this week. Unless you have anything else you want to add or discuss towards the end.
That's it. We'll see everybody next week.
Yes, we will. Catch you later, guys.